Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And the second round of preview videos, I'll be previewing the seasons of RCB, the Punjab Kings, LSG and the Rajasthan Royals. Starting off with RCB, I thought they had a poor auction considering the bowling options they've got going into the season. There's one way for them to salvage things, but I don't think they'll go with that approach until at least 5 games in, and I feel by then the season would have started to slip away from them. In terms of how I think they'll start, I feel they'll start off with Faf du Plessis and Virat Kohli to open the batting, with Rajat Paidar at number 3 and Glenn Maxwell at 4, Cameron Green 5, Mahipal Lomro at 6 and Dinesh Karthik at number 7, Mayank Dagar 8, Karan Sharma at 9, Ozari Joseph 10 and Mohammad Siraj at number 11. And highlighting the deficiencies of this bowling attack, starting off when they're playing at home, Ozari Joseph with the lengths that he bows, he would not be, in my view, a suitable candidate to bowl, especially in a venue like Bengaluru. And you even saw in the recent 50th World Cup where a few bowlers across venues, considering the type of surfaces in India, you don't get many true surfaces, and that's why bowling the ball halfway down the track as fast as you can doesn't work, and I feel Ozari Joseph may suffer from that. And if he plays most of the games, he will start in my view because of the price tag. Mohammad Siraj is a purely attacking bowler when he bowls with a new ball. And if he bowls 2 overs up front and then has to bowl 1 or 2 at the back end, the latter would not be his strength. And I feel on a surface like this, even if he bowls 2 good overs up front, his figures may take a hit if he bowls a couple in the back end. Karan Sharma has to play as the leading wrist spinner. I'd said even when reviewing their mini auction to say, was 6 slots enough to fill the deficiencies in the side? No, it wasn't. But you've got a few players retained where they've not been given an opportunity. When they have been given one, they've not been used correctly, but they've been retained. So you've got 6 slots, and therefore you couldn't get that additional wrist spinner. Himanshu Sharma is one wrist spinner where he lacks control, and in a venue like this, you can go for runs if you lack control. And it's a case where I would have got someone like a Murugan Ashwin to start ahead of Karan Sharma, but they couldn't do that because they only had 6 slots and they spent the money they did have poorly. I feel in the bowling innings, Yash Dayal will be brought in as an impact sub, and I think it's because of the price tag, where would he be suitable to bowl this venue considering he's not quick? No, he wouldn't be. He's more of a swing bowler up front, and in that case, you've got Mohammad Siraj, a newer bowler, Ozari Joseph, newer bowler, Yash Dayal, newer bowler. It's a case where, because of how he's misused when he plays for the West Indies, Siraj and Yash Dayal will open the bowling. You've got Ozari Joseph bowling the middle overs where he will go for 41 to 3 overs like he has been going for the West Indies. And he's been, in that case, he's been brought on at 4th or 15th quite ridiculously. So you've got 3 bowlers who will certainly go for runs at the end, and at least one of them won't be used properly as per their strengths. Karan Sharma, he's been an experienced player in the IPL and he's played quite a few matches. Hasn't done as much in my view. Mayank Dagar, a good economical spinner, has been in a decent form in domestic cricket. It would be a challenge for him bowling at this venue, but based on what I saw when he bowled for SRH the previous season, I think he could be a decent option, especially on turning tracks to keep the runs down. Can be a good economical spinner, but I don't know about him taking as many wickets, and especially if the others are going for as many runs as I think they'll go for, that would prove to be difficult. In terms of what I think they should do, you cannot strengthen this bowling, and therefore I feel with the form that Wu Jacks has been in as well, they should play him in the side. He can also bowl at least 2-3 overs of off-spin and bowl very well in the SA20, where I feel they should load their batting with 4 overseas players: Faf du Plessis, Wu Jacks, Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green. And as far as the bowling attack goes, I've gone with Mohammad Siraj and Vishak Vijay Kumar, and you've got another pacer. Maybe they'll bring in Yash Dayal to bowl the new ball with Mohammad Siraj. Vishak Vijay Kumar has been very good in domestic cricket, and I feel he'd be able to bowl in the middle overs better than one of Yash Dayal or Ozari Joseph. So I feel they've got to go with that 11 there. The bowling will be a bit touch and go. You've got to look how you manage things. For example, even if you're looking at the all-rounders, Maxwell can bowl at least 3 overs considering the bowling form he's been in. Cameron Green, maybe 2, but will go for runs. Wu Jacks can bowl at least 2 or 3. Mohammad Siraj can bowl 4 overs. Mayank Dagar has got to bowl 4 overs, being the economical spin. Karan Sharma will probably have to bowl 4 overs. So you've got a manage of resources, but whatever you concede, or you'd back yourself to be able to chase that score down with this batting lineup. And also, when you're batting first, you think you just get as many as you can get. Since I don't feel they'll start off with that, I feel if you're going to play one overseas fast bowler, it should be the wrong decision. At least when they're playing on slower services, for example, in the first game of their campaign, I would play, well, if I was them and if I was going to play an overseas fast bowler, I'd play Wu Jacks ahead of Cameron Green, because if they don't play Wu Jacks in Chennai and you're going with Mayank Daga and Karan Sharma against the CSK batsmen, how good they are against spin, and with the way they can manage things at their home venue, then I feel you really don't have the ammunition in terms of what you've got in this starting 11 to go and win at that ground. They haven't won at that ground for some years. So, in terms of RCB's fortunes, I feel the batting looks quite good, but if they play the overseas fast bowler, especially because of price tag, and the bowlers go around the park, then after all, the batsmen will find it difficult to keep up with the amount of runs being conceded. And even in that lineup, you've got Patidar, who I feel will have a good IPL, but it's a case where he didn't have a great test, so I have to see how that plays on his mind if it does. Cameron Green is a case where he recently got 174 against New Zealand in one of the test matches. Apart from that, his form has been a bit indifferent. We'll have to see how he goes and who concede runs with the balls, what if he balls at home, in my view. So even with the batting things, there could be one or two precarious points, but I feel for RCB, they've just got to play 4 overseas players and hope for the best. So I don't feel they'll qualify for the play. Well, 4 overseas bats and hope for the best. So I don't feel they'll qualify for the play. And now for the Punjab Kings, as far as their auction goes, I feel them and one other team will be competing for the lesser of the spoils as far as the season goes. I didn't think they had a great auction at all. I was confused by what they did. In terms of their starting 11, I mean, let's just look at their overseas players. You've got Liam Livingstone, not been in any sort of form. Riley Rousseau, not been in any sort of form. Johnny Bairstow, not been in any sort of form. Sam Curran, we don't know where he's playing as a batsman or a bowler. Rabada in the recent SA20 was hit all over the ground, where in the first 2 overs he went for at least 30 runs. Nathan Ellis hasn't played much cricket since the previous IPL. I don't know how he'd be doing. You've only got Sikandar Raza as some kind of a bankable option, so I think that sums it up. And in terms of 11, I think they'll go where they don't have many options. Shikhar Dhawan and Prabhsimran Singh to open the batting with Johnny Bairstow at 3. There's been some talk that Bairstow could open with Prabhsimran Singh at 3, but it's a case where Prabhsimran has done well in domestic cricket when opening the batting and did well in the previous season. Johnny Bairstow, there was one point where he was batting number 4 for England in T20s, and I feel if an early wicket falls, Prabhsimran Singh is dismissed. You'd much rather Johnny Bairstow walk in at 3 if you're the Punjab Kings than if Bairstow is dismissed up front and Prabhsimran has to walk in slightly out of position, which is why I've gone for Bairstow 3. I feel he can't bat at that position. They'll play Liam Livingstone at number 4, Jitesh Sharma number 5, Shashank Singh number 6. It's a case where they did not replace Shah Rukh Khan. We'll have to see how that goes, although he did well for SRH and wasn't given an opportunity afterwards. Sam Curran 7, Harshal Patel number 8, Kagiso Rabada 9, Rahul Chahar 10, and Arshdeep Singh at number 11. Now, I would play Sikandar Raza ahead of Liam Livingstone because apart from the IPL in the last 2 seasons, he's not been in any sort of form. With his batting, it's been kind of an average 12, strike rate 90. Same case with Riley Rousseau, where both those 2 players have been looking to attack most of the deliveries, failing to get the purchase and ending up with those stats. And you've got both those 2 taking up almost 20 crores in budget and vying for the same or similar positions, which is ridiculous. Kagiso Rabada unfortunately hasn't been in great form, even though he's got the pedigree. And I feel in terms of the nature of the wickets in India, a lot of the wickets, they don't have as much bounce as you would get in South Africa. So if the batsman over there gave him the charge and hit him for 6s, I feel here the ball will sit up a bit better. And in terms of there won't be any kind of menacing bounce or anything, and therefore it may be easier for the opposition batsman to do the same. We'll have to see how he goes, even though he's a quality bowler. However, they're playing in Mulanpur, which is a newly opened ground. I don't know how that ground plays out. If it played out similar to Mohali, then he would struggle, considering he bowls slow balls even in these type of venues where I feel the over-reliance of that in that situation would not bode well for him. We saw that when bowling in Bangalore. Arshdeep Singh, Off late, he's either gone for a lot of runs or he's had quite a good day, but I feel he's a fantastic bowler and he'll be vital for them this season considering the other options they've got. Rahul Chad, a very good economical spinner, but does not take too many wickets, and when the others are going for the runs that I think they'll go for, then they may struggle. And if you're looking at the number 6 slot on the side, you got Shashank Singh, who played well for SRH in a cup, but with that one game where he scored 25 runs and 6 balls, I think, against the Gujarat Titans, they was unsold the next day for some reason. If he doesn't do well, you've got unknown commodities, and they after 7.4 crores, they didn't. They pulled out of the race to get Shah Rukh Khan, which I didn't get because they then went on to spend 8 crores Raya Rousseau, which I didn't get that at all. And as far as the bowling is concerned, as a backup for Sam Curran, you've got Chris Wilkes, where at least Sam Curran, you'd think he could offer something with a bat. Chris Wilkes can bat number 8, score a few runs here and there. And with a ball, unless they're swing out young where he could bowl some 3 overs in a ground such as Mumbai, for example, he'd also go for a lot of runs. So, not much to say on the Punjab Kings. A confusing auction, and I feel them and one other team will be competing for the lesser spoils in this tournament. I feel looking at the squad, it does not give me faith they'll do much this season. Now, in LSG, I didn't think they had the greatest of auctions. However, because of the match winners they've got in their squad, I didn't think they needed to. One signing they made during the auction and a signing they made afterwards as a replacement player, I feel adds to the strength of this side. In terms of the 11 they could go with and playing at home, I feel they'll go with Devdutt Padikkal to open the batting with Quinton de Kock. Nicholas Puran at 3, even though they've played him down the order, I would like to see him play at number 3, so I'll put him there. KL Rahul at 4, Deepak Hooda 5, Marcus Stoinis 6, Krunal Pandya 7, Shivam Mavi 8, Mohsin Khan 9, Ravi Bishnoi and Naveen Haq. Now, in terms of the seamers, considering the nature of the surface at Lucknow, I feel the slow deliveries of Naveen Haq may have a greater effect than Sharma Joseph, who looks to bowl quicker by hitting a length. And that's why I've gone for him in the side ahead of Sharma Joseph, although when they go to venues such as Bengaluru, Sharma Joseph may play ahead of him. And in terms of the backups, the reason why I said they've not had a great auction is because they've signed decent players such as Maniman and Siddharth, a very good bowler. However, you've got Krunal Pandya who will start, Ravi Bishnoi who will start. None of the impacts up. They've been going with Krishnappa Gautam even ahead of someone like an Amit Mishra because he's been walking out the 19th over and hitting that 1-6, which I don't get at all, as if that's going to change too much. And so if you're not prioritizing a bowler like Amit Mishra, are they going to give a chance to Maniman Siddharth even though he's a very good bowler? I don't think they would do. They signed David Willey, even though there was a situation around Naveen Haq, around the ban imposed by the L20 at that point in time, and that had been resolved a few months back. I don't get why they'd sign David Willey when they let go of Ramari Shepherd. Yes, he bowls slower than Ramari Shepherd, which may be handy at their home venue, but there are other bowlers available. I didn't get why they signed him for 2 crores. Ashton Turner is not a backup for Marcus Stoinis. It's a case where I had said in my preview video when I previewed their mini auction, David Visa for 1 crore would have been a very good like-for-like backup for Marcus Stoinis, probably the best one available. Instead, they've signed Ashton Turner, maybe because of the coach's influence, because he has worked with him in Australia. However, it's once again a case where someone plays for Namibia, it's not as an attractive of a proposition as someone who doesn't even play for Australia, but is Australian and has played in an Australian league. So I thought Ashton Turner being signed as a backup for Marcus Stoinis, it was not the correct decision. Considering the IPL and the SA20, these are 2 leagues where the Super Giants group own franchises. And it's a case where you saw what they did in the SA20, didn't qualify in the first season and went to the final and then lost in this one. I feel tactically the 2 sides thus far have operated terribly in terms of the tactics as far as the team is concerned, where even in the IPL, yes, they qualified for the playoffs both times, but fundamentally things were not great in terms of their tactics, and that's why knockout games, when if you make a mistake and allow the opposition back into the game, they'll hurt you, and you've seen that happen twice. And there have been glaring errors as well throughout the tournament, even though they've got good squads across both leagues. In this case, it's a case where even though you've got some very good players there, Quinton de Kock has not been in great form. We'll have to see how he goes. Nicholas Perrin is a fantastic player at number 3. If they play him at number 5 and then pick Ronald Pandya up the order alongside Akil Rahul, who, if he goes as how he did in the recent World Cup, where when he walked out to bat, he immediately got going in the middle order, and I think that's why he's wanted to bat in the middle order. I've been wanting this change to take place even from before. But if he takes a bit of time on a slow surface and Ronald Pandya is sent out to bat alongside him, then you can't expect Nicholas Perrin and Marcus Stoinis and Deepak Hooda to undo the damage done in the middle. So I won't be surprised if Ronald Pandya is sent up the order to supposedly set things up, even though there's not been any situation in my view when he set things up. If anything, he scored, even there's one time when he scored 40 odd balls, and he retired out at that point in time, but by then the damage is already done. Yes, they got to 170 odd by the end, but the other batsmen had to do the hard work to get them up to that score. So tactically, I don't feel this side is going to, even though they've got some very good resources, I don't think they'll apply themselves well, even though I feel they can qualify because of the sheer match winners they've got in their 11. But if there's one team out of the top 4 that I think they can slip out of the race, that would be this side. And finally, the Rajasthan Royals, they didn't have to do too much in the mini auction in my view. They did enough in the auction and the side looks fantastic. They could field 2 11s based on what the surface offers. Regarding the first 11, they could go with Josh Buttler and SSV Jaiswal to open the batting, and Sanju Samson to bat at 3 with Dhruv Jurel batting at 4. I'd say even after the mini auction that Jurel should bat at 4 instead of Robin Powell, which is what was originally rumoured. And after scoring a match-defining innings of 90 in the 4th test of the recent series, I think it'd be set in stone that Jurel will bat at 4 on the side. Shimon Hetmeyer at number 5, Robin Powell at 6 will play the finishing role. Riyan Parag has been fantastic in domestic cricket, he'll bat at number 7 on this side, and Ashwin at number 8. Trent Bolt 9, Yuzvendra Chahal 10, Avesh Khan would make up the bowlers, and as an impact sub, you've got enough batting there so they could play Sandeep Sharma, which would make a very good attack. And with this batting side, I feel the Indian players, their proficiency against spin, even on turning tracks, you've got Jaiswal, Samson, Dhruv Jurel, even when they're looking to go aggressively against spin, you put faith on them to execute their skills. And when visiting a venue, for example, like Bengaluru, where you've got that top 8 would be a fearsome top 8 where they can really pile on the runs. In the second and 11 that I think they could go with when they're playing, especially at home on the turning tracks, I feel they don't need to play one of the finishers. Even the previous season, I didn't think they needed to play Shimon Hetmeyer, especially on the slower tracks. And you saw in the latter half of the previous season, and that was a point in question which saw them lose a few games. I've gone with the same top 5 in this case, with Riyan Parag to bat at 6. Shivam Dube, I think he plays for Vidarbha. He plays a finisher role for them. They put him for a decent sum of money, so they back him. If he can play that number 7 role, the finisher role, and do it well, you've got Ashwin at 8, and then you could play, in terms of the batting age, you could start off with 3 overseas players and bring in Adam Zampa as the impact player. So if you've got Ashwin, Chahal, Zampa, Sandeep Sharma, Trent Bolt, that's a fantastic attack. And I think pretty much every side, if they had to chase a decent score against that side on a slow track, they would not fare well, and the win would pretty much be secured. So I feel this, in terms of the squad, I feel this looks the most powerful squad in amongst all the 10 franchises. There are only a couple of points of question in my view. First of all, in terms of the Indian finisher role, you've got Riyan Parag, Shivam Dube. If they don't play Shivam Dube, which I think they will in some of the games, in terms of the backup for those players, you've got Abid Mushtaq, who is unproven at this level. In terms of Indian finishers, I don't think there's anyone else. They've got fairly unproven players. I'll have to see how they go. But I feel one of them would come good alongside Riyan Parag. And Avesh Khan has not been in great bowling form for a while now. You think he'd play because he played for India. And since it's a trade, I think the base price will still be maintained, so they may still play him. However, if he goes for runs, then you've got Navdeep Saini, who's injury prone, has not been great in white ball cricket. And Kuldeep Sen, we'll have to see how he goes in domestic cricket. I don't know how he's been doing, but I feel he would be the backup for Avesh Khan, because you don't know how much Navdeep Saini can give you, especially considering his injury record and how he's been going when he's bowled in limited overs cricket. So overall, this looks a powerful side. And in terms of backups as well, you got Donovan Ferrer can play a role in the middle over, maybe as a backup for Shimon Hetmeyer. And I don't know if Josh Butler will be available for the entire season, but that's not a problem considering I'm very happy for Tom Cole-Cadmore. He's been signed at base price. He's been doing well no matter where he's played. He's been doing well in the T10. He's been doing well locally as well. And the PSL, he's not been used as correctly, but when he has been batting around the way he should be batting, he's done well. So him being a backup for Josh Butler and with Sanju Samson keeping, since Tom Cole-Cadmore is not a full-time keeper, he keeps when there usually isn't another option. I think he can also play that aggressive role. Overall, the side looks a very good side, and I think they'll qualify for the playoffs. So that's on these 4 teams, and in the final preview video, I'll be covering the last 3 teams. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?